How are you, Houston?
I'm good, thank you. I'm still locked down as you are.
Yeah, it's been a pain in the ass. The Premier, Gladys Berejiklian's pissed me off, and the Queensland Premier. The Queensland Premier pissed off to Tokyo, and Gladys got caught without a face mask.
Well, there's one rule for some of us, and one rule for others of us. So anyway, what can you say?
And I got vaccinated. I got the AstraZeneca.
Good, good. Both or just the first jab?
Just the first. Second jab's in September. I'm still here.
That's not too far away. Not too far away. I'm fully vaccinated.
Good on you.
I even have my little slip from MyGov, which is quite cool to have something as official as that, saying I'm not COVID's not allowed to make me sick anymore.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What it means, isn't it? Isn't that what it means? COVID's not allowed to. It's against the law.
Yeah, this COVID shot. Do you think we're going to have to get a booster? I hope not.
I hope not. But we had to get boosters of other things when I was a kid. We had other types of shots of various sorts, and there was always a booster involved somewhere. Mainly the kids, because you couldn't give a kid a full strength one because it would kill them. But if all it does is make you get sick, but you don't get very ill, or you don't get hospitalized, and you don't die, then probably a booster shot's not necessary. But that's me talking as I'd rather somebody like yourself got at least something going, rather than me take 3, so that I didn't have to cough and sneeze for a while.
Yeah, look, I feel this is population control because the government wants you to check in everywhere, like even in the toilets in Market Fair, Campbelltown. I was like, fuck that, I'm not checking in to go to the toilet.
I've never been asked to check in to go to the toilet.
Oh, serious?
Happened to me yet. So it would be, I'm sure there is the scope for it to be controlled, but one of these things, you're still tracked. You're still far more controlled than you are with either a microchip in your virus. It's people don't realize that we are constantly under observation as it is. There are CCTV cameras everywhere. There are chips in all of our phones that you can, the same thing that allows you to be tracked allows you to find your phone if you lose it. And, I think wailing about extra population control or population monitoring, when in fact they know where you are all the time anyway.
Yeah, no, it's just getting annoying because, like, if I want to go sit at a coffee shop, I have to check in. I just want to enjoy my coffee and sit.
Yeah, but that's fine. But we don't go into coffee shops.
I know.
We take away.
Yeah. Even for takeaway, Houston, they still want you to check in.
Sure, because you're going to be in close contact with someone. But I think it's a small price to pay for avoiding being intubated and having a ventilation tube shoved down your throat, in between your vocal cords, and down into your windpipe.
Exactly. And it's just getting annoying. That's all. And I just want COVID to stop.
Well, unfortunately, as the saying goes, if wishes were beggars, no, if horses were wishes, beggars would ride. We can't make it away we can't wish it away. We can't want it away. We've got to fight it. We fight it with the tools that we have, the best ones that we know of. If there are better ones that come along, then we use those. But for me, the best tools are isolation and vaccination. Those are the two things that seem to control it. We've had the same strain of outbreak here in Victoria with a much harsher lockdown. And today we haven't gone, today was 20 again, 20 new
Yeah.
cases. 20 yesterday, 11 the day before, 11 the day before that. It hasn't been ramping up the way it did in New South Wales.
There was
Up
a
very
young
quickly.
fella my age in Liverpool who died of the Delta strain.
Yes, he was in his 20s. He died at home. Yeah.
Shit.
And that hasn't happened here. They were bouncing up and down here about last year about Victoria. That's when Scott Morrison said things like New South Wales was the gold standard because it hadn't shut down. Now with a bigger challenge, gold is devalued a fair bit. I don't know what today's numbers are in New South Wales, but they're certainly encouraging, but maybe not encouraging, but certainly not discouraging.
Well, we have to wear face masks, and I've seen people not wearing face masks. They're stupid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do they do that in Victoria?
Oh yeah, people are wearing it quite a lot. They're wearing them quite a lot.
Police aren't enforcing it in my local area. Because people are walking outside with no mask.
Well, what's your local area?
It's like, sort of semi-rural.
What's the name of it?
It's near Badgerys Creek.
Right.
Bringelly. That's where I am.
Yeah, Bringelly. Well, see, that's not in the hard lockdown area because Sydney isn't a Sydney-wide lockdown. Right. It's only really hard lockdown in Canterbury Bankstown and out around Penrith.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're involved. That's why police aren't going to do that for you.
We still got to wear masks going to the local shop and the doctor surgery.
Yeah.
We still got to check in, but yeah, I see the cops driving around.
Yeah, but they're looking for people who are, flaunting the actual regulations for that local government area. Melbourne is just 100% like it is in Canterbury Bankstown. The rural Victoria, the restrictions eased today, I think.
Yeah,
they eased today.
Like Gladys has pissed me off because she closed down all the barbers and I can't get a haircut.
Yeah.
But the first lockdown, all the barbers were open. Why would she do that?
Well, when you think about what a hairdresser does, is actually very close to you. They get very close to you. They touch you. They touch areas that could be infectious. And if your hairdresser would be one very easy way for the virus to spread.
But they put masks and gloves on, Houston.
Not when they're working. As far as I know, they shut down here. But when you think, the difference between not being able to get your hair cut, as I say, and lying on your back with a tube in your mouth down your throat, I'll take a bit of long hair, thanks. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with long hair as long as you wash it. But no, I think we are so accustomed, especially this generation and the generation before, are so accustomed to living very healthy lives and with a great deal of freedom, that when something like this comes along, and it's very easy to make the argument that wearing masks and checking in and so on are all eroding your freedoms. The thing is, you don't remember what it might have been like 3 generations ago. So when I was growing up as a kid, before the age of 5, I had rubella, measles, mumps, gastro, plus a number of other childhood and lots of tonsillitis.
Shit.
Right. So that was all by the age of 5. When I turned 6 was the year that they brought out vaccinations for rubella, measles, German measles,
Mm,
and mumps, and those vaccinations hit in 1968.
mm.
I would say each one of those diseases has left its mark on me in some way, and they were extremely unpleasant. But I had a lot, and I was not the only one.
Mm.
You would just accept the epidemic going through the school, and that was it. It was just accepted. But I don't remember large numbers of people protesting when the vaccines came out.
Yeah, anti-vaxxers. I don't get that.
Well, I don't get it either, because they seem to think that vaccines cause, when the old thing was vaccines cause autism.
Mm,
There was autism well before vaccines, and the fact that we've broadened the definition of what autism is in the last 10 to 15 years, and we're getting much better at diagnosing it,
mm,
doesn't seem to register with them. It seems to be, oh, vaccines cause it. And the fact is they don't. I've been vaccinated many times, and I'm what you call the opposite of autistic. I actually did an autism test a while back.
I've got it
And
actually.
oh, I don't hold it against you. Don't worry. But, um, but the thing is, I don't. No, this test showed absolutely no traces of autism at all, except perhaps an obsession with something that I really love, which is only one symptom. And many of us have that.
Mm,
But everything else, I was really on the far end of the spectrum to autism. Um, and yet I've had every vaccine you could possibly imagine,
mm.
including COVID.
No, look, I've had a few I've had a few guests on the show who chose not to vaccinate their kids. I mean, that's their choice. I'm not gonna judge them for that. I mean, if people don't want to take it, that's your choice.
Mm. Well, the thing is, the reason they can make that choice
Mm,
is because you don't hear about people in this country getting measles, mumps, or rubella
mm,
anymore because of the vaccines. Um, I mean, I don't know how many of them, if you ask them, would have their daughters vaccinated against cervical cancer,
mm,
but that's a vaccine, because about 60%, I think it's either 60% or somewhere around 60% of cervical cancer cases are viral, and could be the amount of cervical cancer drop in the last few years since the vaccine came out
mm,
has been extraordinary, to watch girls not being diagnosed with cervical cancer,
mm.
which is potentially dangerous, fatal, I should say.
Oh, it is, Houston.
But yet a vaccine stops it. If you ask them, would you have your daughters vaccinated against um, cervical cancer?
Mm.
I wonder what the answer would be. Um, this current vaccine, about the only argument that in any way holds water, and it's a very small amount of water, is that it came into being very quickly.
Mm. That's what was
Uh,
my concern. When I went to get
mm,
my shot, I said, "Look, I'm afraid that I'm going to have side effects because it's been 1 year, and I have every right to be concerned."
yeah, yeah, but the side effects were very minor, I'm sure.
They were. I just had a bit of a headache, sort of muscle aches,
Well, you get that with most vaccines, a muscle ache.
leg cramp. I don't know, I had cramp in my legs, but I'm fine.
That may have been totally unrelated.
Nah,
I don't know if
but
that's the same.
this
Um,
this COVID-19's affected the music industry, film industry,
it
creative
has,
arts, because it's
it has
like,
indeed. All form of artistic expression has been slapped around. Yeah. We don't have our gigs anywhere near as much. We during the long lockdowns, people were able to adapt and do online stuff.
It's not the same on
It's not
Zoom,
really the same.
Houston.
It's not really the same.
But anyway,
And
other than that, the thing with Harvey Weinstein came up. You heard of Harvey Weinstein?
oh
Well,
yeah,
why would someone like that want to do that to women? That's just sad.
I think the word power comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a way of expressing your power or gaining power that you don't think you have,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bit odd because Weinstein is one of the sort of top movie producers,
Mm.
and has a lot of power, but he wanted more. He wanted personal power over people. So
Especially over women.
yeah, well, that's because he's probably not particularly confident about around women, and believes that they probably need to be subjugated to him. You know, I don't know. The fact that we can actually say, Stephen,
Mm.
why on earth would you do that, is a good sign that, because it shows you're not going to do it because you have no clue why anyone would do it. With people like Weinstein and even Mario Cuomo just the other day, who has now resigned as governor of New York, or Rolf Harris or Charles
Yeah.
and Bill Cosby, they want power.
Well, was Bill Cosby innocent? Because they let him go.
He was squashed. His thing was overturned on a technicality, I think. But his career is finished.
Yeah.
You know.
So Bill Cosby went to jail?
Yes, he did. Yeah. And it was overturned just recently on appeal.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean to say he didn't do it, because it was an appeal on process, not on the actual lack of evidence or anything like that. So, but those people do it for reasons of acquiring power, particularly power over women. That means that they're not particularly strong in their own manhood and their own personhood.
This shit's been going on in Hollywood for years.
Yep, and finally, people have been brave enough to speak up about it.
I think Brad Pitt spoke up, but there was a few actors early came forward, but then they sacked them. They said, "Oh, well, you're not going to work ever again in this."
Exactly, and they were blacklisted. Yeah, but so that's where the people who were brave enough to come forward were certainly really, really worth their salt. Yeah, I think there's a great deal of bravery that we must remember. These people were just displaying the Me Too movement and what came forward, and also the guys who say things like, not all guys are like that, not all men, and that's sort of like avoiding the issue. It sounds like a reasonable argument until you start to unpack it a wee bit.
Well, Quentin Tarantino was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he knew all about it. All the industry knew about Harvey Weinstein doing that shit.
Oh yeah.
Why'd they keep quiet? Except Brad Pitt came forward, but Brad Pitt's got his own.
They kept quiet because they didn't want to upset the apple cart.
Have you been to Hollywood?
Yeah.
It's a rubbish dump. I've been there.
It's not everything it's cracked up to be. I mean, it never was a particularly salubrious area. It's say not a particularly salubrious area, but it wasn't in the 20s and 30s either.
So it's always been like that.
It's always been had its seedy side, because when you put so much money together and so much lack of sense, I suppose, then you're going to end up getting that kind of seedy, corrupt, power hungry sort of person. And that's going to be not only then the kind of people that you associate with, but it's the kind of activities that are going to go on around you. And all the things that lots of money attracts, such as prostitution, drugs, vice, all sorts of things. And so, yeah, the big sign is a little bit, it looks a little bit droopy now, the big Hollywood sign in the hills. But there's some parts of it that are extremely nice up in the hills, and you look down and you think, wow, imagine the millions that it costs to run that place. And she'd be right. We're talking about millions of dollars to buy them and
I wouldn't look if I wouldn't live in Hollywood or LA. I'd live in Texas or Arizona.
Why?
Just desert. It's in the countryside, and LA's just too many arrogant people. I found that's when I was there, and it's not as glamorous as what they make it out to be.
Not far from the desert, though. Has a desert climate. You go over the hills, and you're in. California has deserts too.
Yeah.
I'm just not entirely sure you'd be happy in either Arizona or Texas, because they're kind of both redneck states.
What about Area 51?
Well, that's in Nevada. And I don't know whose electorate that's in.
Do you think?
I don't know if that congressperson is either male or female or Democrat or Republican.
Is it an alien?
It's the alien embassy, the Martian embassy. The Martian embassy is in Canberra. When you have a chance, or any of your listeners and viewers might want to look at the National Film and Sound Archive headquarters in Canberra, and the locals refer to it as the Martian Embassy. And once you see the academy, you'll understand why. That's all I'm saying.
Was it true?
Looks like a flying saucer on about 8 legs.
Was it true Bill Clinton was sleeping with 2 alien women?
I'm not sure where you get your information from, but even if I knew, I probably couldn't tell you.
He was always high on weed all the time.
I don't recall that.
Like when he denied the affair with Monica Lewinsky, but then a couple of weeks later he said he had an affair. I don't get that. You either did or you didn't. He did.
Well, you see it in politics all the time. Deny and deny and deny until you can't deny it anymore. Same thing happened with Mario Cuomo just today. The same thing's happening. I had no sexual harassment. No. Out comes an independent report, said, yeah, there's sexual harassment everywhere. Oh, I resign. They deny until they can't deny anymore. The best person at it was Trump. He's still at it. He's still doing it. Second best person is our own ScoMo. Gladys is not too bad at it either. Yesterday in a press conference, she said, I didn't say that. I've never said that, whatever it was. And then in the next breath, she says it.
Well, the Queensland Premier is denying shit too.
Such as?
Oh, well, like, why would she want to go to Tokyo? I don't know.
Well, I think she was forced to, wasn't she? That she spend the time back in quarantine.
You see, our politicians are just acting like school kids, both the Labor and the Liberal government, Houston, blaming each other, bitching, moaning. What's going on?
I haven't noticed too much of that from Andrews yet. He's actually under quite a lot of hostile pressure, and a lot of attention is being given to the way he's handling the pressure from New South Wales, particularly Berejiklian, because she said quite a number of nasty things last year when Victoria was in lockdown. She's at it again, although not as bad, and he's refusing to rise to the bait, which is all right, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just he said, she said. Dr. Phil was saying at the start of the pandemic, both the Democrats and the Republicans were just going to blame each other for this.
Doctor who? Sorry.
Dr. Phil,
Oh, Dr. Phil.
yeah, he was more concerned about what this virus would do to the mental health.
Oh yeah, I think that's something that has been a reluctant inclusion in the thought processes of some people. It's tagged along at the end. But when you're used to being around people and you're an extroverted person who picks up vibes from everybody and really enjoys being around other people, this situation is really bad. It's really quite intolerable. You have to work out ways of replacing that energy that you get from other people. Skyping and Zooming, for example, and Facebook Messenger all three of those are all terrific ways to do that. But it must be an introvert's paradise.
Oh, it is, like all this technology, like I'm just gonna. I've started just taking a break. Like yesterday, I just had a day off, Houston.
Mm-hmm. I should have.
I'm getting fed up with these Zoom concerts, rehearsals. It's shit.
Yeah, you do get a bit tired of it. I do agree with you on that one. Don't get me wrong. But if it's the only way you're going to make a living for a while, and it isn't permanent, there will be. Even 3 to 5 years is still temporary. It's not short, but it's still temporary. Usually about this time of day, I usually start to fade about 10, 11 o'clock in the daytime. And it's just because, I spent the morning doing this, on a computer and not really getting out to get some fresh air. And that's when I stopped that. Oh, I must get out now.
Are you getting sunlight? Are you getting out for an hour a day, or can you go out?
I go out as long as I wear my mask.
Yeah. I like, because in New South Wales, they only say you could leave for an hour.
Yeah, but even then, that's not the whole of the city, is it?
No.
Because you're allowed to do more than that where you are.
I choose not to because we got about 5 odd acres at our place and I exercise at home. So.
How many acres?
About 5.
So you had no problems with social distancing. Go out and sit in the middle of the field.
Exactly. No, but it's what it is, it's all these rule changes coming in. No one says anything, Houston.
Well, they expect you to find it all online. Here they have a daily briefing, if you like, summary, which gets sent to everybody's mobile. So they make a fair amount of attempt to keep you involved, keep you informed. I think it varies from state to state, I think. And that's a strength and a weakness, because it's a strength because you can reach more people that way. It's a weakness when you don't really have a national plan. And they don't. There's no national vision for how we do this. At least not yet. As to how we fight this. Because that's really what we have to do.
Exactly. How are you keeping with your mental health?
I think it's fine. What about you? Yeah, I think it's fine too. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you very much. No, I didn't mean to joke there too much. No, I'm so far so good. I mean, I've got friends that I keep in plenty close contact with. I do manage to get out and about into the community. Just bought myself a whole box of new face masks.
Nice. Where'd you buy them from, Houston?
A local pharmacy.
Are they good? Because I find these ones they're shit. They just fall off when you talk.
They shouldn't.
You need one of these. These are what we wear in the RFS.
Yeah.
I wear that.
Yeah, I've got those too, but the ones that you've got there in your left hand,
Yeah.
you say they fall off when you talk?
This one.
Mm. Have you molded the top bit to your nose?
Yeah, they're just, and my glasses fog up as well.
Your glasses will fog up.
That's
There is
why
an angle at which you can put it that it won't happen.
I'd rather pay more money for something you wear in the Rural Fire Service.
Yeah, okay. But is that fine enough not to, I mean, it's fine enough to let smoke and ash keep that out, but what about microscopic stuff?
Yeah, I've worn it. But that's just what I'm saying. The cloth ones you wear, they're just uncomfortable. You know that?
Yeah, I think for me the mask has it's twofold. There's actually not so much to stop you from getting it; it's to stop you from spreading it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's yeah. But somebody explained it rather nicely the other day. Let's say you're standing next to a friend and both of you are naked, and your friend really has to pee, and pees at you. You get wet. Your friend, the following day, you decide to wear pants to this meeting with your friend. Sure enough, your friend needs to pee again. But this time you're wearing trousers. And whilst you are partially protected, yes, some of it gets through, but it's not quite as bad. Following day, you're going to meet again, but you insist that you'll only meet again if your friend wears trousers. So you're both wearing trousers, and sure enough, halfway through the meeting, the friend has to pee. And it all goes down the inside of his trousers.
Exactly.
You're totally protected. That is wearing a mask.
See,
when you're both wearing trousers, that's when you're both wearing masks.
But there's quality over quantity too. I prefer to pay for like a Peak 2. You're buying the hardware. That's quality.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But $4.95 for a box of 100, that was
See,
you can always double mask.
The surgeons, they wear like a tie-on one. They've got like different quality, don't they?
Yeah, it's a cloth one, I think.
It's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably a bit more expensive. But, they're trying to make sure that they don't breathe on their patients.
I mean, dentists have been wearing them for years. They still do.
Dentists?
Yeah. Dentists, nurses.
Oh, dentist?
Yeah, dentist.
I thought you said dentist. Dentist. I'm trying to rack in my brain thinking, who is Dennis?
Dentist.
Somebody I should have known?
Yeah.
Who on earth were you talking about? I have a friend who, at least one friend who talks in her sleep, and I've never heard it say, never been there when she's done it. But talks in her sleep, and then sleep talks before, and it's total nonsense. And my father used to talk in his sleep as well, but he couldn't understand a word he said.
Yeah,
because it was this high pitched thing on fast forward.
Yeah,
that's what he'd do when he was sleeping. It was quite entertaining, actually. Problem is, you could hear it from 2 rooms away, so it was pretty loud.
Exactly.
I don't know how my mother slept through it, to be honest.
Was this in your apartment?
No, I was at their house.
Okay.
My father's been gone a couple of years now. And my mother's been gone over 20 years.
Yeah.
So this was well before that.
Shit.
Oh
Hey,
man, what's he
you seen
doing?
that? You seen that pandemic special on South Park?
No.
Oh, I gotta check it out. They took the piss out of the whole face mask and people not wearing them properly and social distancing with Cartman. That was funny stuff.
Trying to imagine that. Imagine that.
Donald Trump as well. He's been on it. He's Mr. Garrison.
He is to blame for a great deal of the dysfunction within the political systems around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's one of those. He's one of those things that says, when you throw a stone in a pond, the ripples will spread. He's not much been a stone as a huge rock.
Mm.
And there's been several ricochets of that rock. And the ripples are still quite strong and spreading outwards still.
Yeah.
And that's
he's been on Oprah Winfrey. I think it was back in the 80s or something. He was on Oprah.
Oh yeah. Back when he was human. Or didn't realize he was a lizard.
A reptilian. Have you heard of reptilian people?
I have, but not outside science fiction.
What about a chupacabra? You heard of that?
No. Unless they're dressed like Donald Trump.
What? Have you seen any UFOs?
When I was about 6 or 7.
Yeah, no, serious. You seen them?
We did see someone. We did see something.
Shit. What happened?
In the backyard. And it was myself, my sister, and two or three friends.
Mm.
And we all were looking at the sky, and there was this white outline of a parallelogram, like the old-fashioned envelope with the lid open. So it was that shape.
Yeah.
And it was moving slowly across the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And when you looked at it through binoculars, there were rainbow-type trails coming from it, rainbow-colored trails. So we rang the Weather Bureau, and they said, "Oh, it's probably a weather balloon." Yeah, enormous weather balloon, because it looked a long way up. It took all day to get across the sky.
All day?
Yeah, it took ages. This seemed that way when we were kids. So that was I call it my UFO sighting. It's probably been an FO or an IFO, identified flying object, since then. But I've never seen anything reported like it since.
I've actually heard of men in black just showing up to random people's houses saying, "Oh, did you see an alien?" And if so, "Oh, you got to keep quiet." Like if 2 men in black came to your door, Houston, said, "If you saw aliens, how would you feel?"
Did I? Oh, cool. Then they'd wipe my memory, wouldn't they? Obliviate. Boom. Gone.
It's like Area 51. If you try to go to Area 51, they spy on you.
Yeah. But then why would you want to go to Area 51?
Just to see if there's any aliens.
Is it going to change your life?
Yeah, I'll do a podcast with it.
They're dead. How would you do that?
We'll do it on Zoom.
No, those guys have got no Zoom left in them.
Apparently in outer space, they got all this technology. And no, there's been a lot of hoaxes. The Nazis tried to build UFOs, you know that?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they tried
They
to.
did build flying bombs, but I don't know about their UFO program.
They did it all in secrecy. Everything's secret. Area 51 secret. You know.
Clearly, it didn't stay a secret for long.
Well, Bob Lazar, who worked at Area 51, came forward on Joe Rogan's podcast, said there's aliens, and they're reverse engineering UFO spare parts, like the U-2 spy plane. That's an interesting engineering.
Yeah, I don't know why he would say that. Really, they he probably thinks he's safe enough to say because he can't be touched, or he's safe enough to say because he's just a crazy old man. And
people have photoshopped this stuff, Houston. They say it's real.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if it is or not. Just realized I need to quickly check my blood sugar level.
Yep. All right, I thought we'll end the podcast now, but thanks for coming on today's show.
That's all right. My
Great
pleasure.
show. Great show with you, Houston. So what are you working on with your music before we wrap it up?
Right now, a piece for string quartet and string orchestra.
Nice.
That is due for a premiere in Chile next year.
Awesome.
Got to finish it first.
Yep.
After that, probably another string orchestra piece, actually. I've got to finish a concerto for bass flute and string orchestra.
Good on you.
Halfway through it. And I put it down to do other things, but I need to put it back up again. But yeah, so there's always something to work on.
Exactly.